Good answer.
Nope. Okay. Episode 7.
Emotional intelligence.
And you said you had all the memes out of you.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Um,
I don't even know where to begin on this one, dude.
um, it's kind of hard to think
Why did that
about.
open that and not this,
So,
bro?
essentially, right, what emotional intelligence even um, is really the ability to kind of know and use and manage emotion, right? Not just within yourself, but within people around you. So a good example, right, is if you end up getting mad and you realize you're getting mad. That's
Me right now, because the
um,
link you put in Discord just takes me to a Google search and not a website.
because it's not a website.
Sick. Anyway,
Actually, it is a website. It's Google. But yeah. Anyway, the ability to use and like perceive and handle emotion, right? If you notice yourself getting mad, that's a form of emotional intelligence. You're able to sort of realize what is going on and and then managing it from there is another, you know,
yeah, that's a
side
whole
skill.
right. Yeah, being able to realize the fact that you're feeling whatever emotion you're feeling.
Right. And then also like in other people as well, like if you can see obvious changes in someone's behavior, and then acting upon that to provide any help that they might need, is another sign of social or of emotional intelligence. The main key points. Well, first of all, let me start off by just recommending a book. Right, it's this book. Focus. It's not gonna.
Nope, because you got a blur effect. It only picks up faces.
There we go.
There you go. 2.0. They done
Emotional
upgraded.
Intelligence 2.0. Yes. Um, this book literally tells you everything that you need to know about it and how to get better at it. I would definitely recommend doing it. There's probably places where you can get it for free. I bought it, but I'm not going to tell anybody to go buy it.
Probably an audio book for it if you don't want to read it.
However, when I bought it, I got it at a thrift store for like $5. So
Yeah,
just
that
say,
ain't nothing.
just saying. Um, it doesn't take you long to read. It's pretty quick, and it gives you a lot of strategies. There's a lot of stories, a lot of examples. So it's a really good book if you want to learn more about emotional intelligence and how to get better at it and what it is really. We'll cover like a good chunk of it, but um, having examples is a good way for other people to learn. So the big components of this topic, I'm not gonna keep saying it because I feel like it's gonna. I feel like I'm gonna get tired of saying it. But the big key components are self awareness, self regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. And all of those kind of come full circle with each other because you really can't have certain like you can't have all like some of those aspects without other things. So just brief definitions, right? Like self-awareness is kind of self-explanatory.
Right.
being aware of how you feel, your behavior, your thought processes. Um, yeah, just knowing yourself. It's not as easy as people think that it might be, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like that one's probably the easiest one to have.
Yeah, but sometimes people don't want to see it, so or
Yeah.
they don't want to admit when they're feeling something or when they're behaving in a certain way. I know a lot
Yeah,
of
but you still have the self-awareness because you recognized it.
yeah, I mean, I guess you could be aware of it and be in denial.
Hmm.
So that makes a good point. Um, the next one is self-regulation. This is probably one of the more harder ones because it's easy to see if you're doing wrong and or see how you're feeling in a certain way. It's not as easy to stop yourself from feeling that way, especially if it's a natural reaction or a trauma response.
Right.
Um, and I mean, I'm not going to define self-regulation. Everybody should know what it means to regulate yourself, especially if you're an adult
Yeah.
that just works with any kind of irritating other person. So you go to work, you regulate yourself because if you don't like your job, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna want to
You don't
crash
want
out.
to. Yeah, you don't want to go crazy on the person who irritates you every day.
Exactly. Um, and you don't want to ruin beneficial relationships to your life. I think that's another thing that people don't really think about either is like even though that you may not like the a specific person, um, them being in your life may or may not benefit both parties. And so then you now have to like navigate that and learn to walk away and pick your own battles, pick important battles. The next one is social awareness. That's similar to self awareness, except you're recognizing the needs and emotions of others and helping them to manage that. Um,
Yeah, I'd say that's a hard one too, honestly.
that yeah, it is pretty hard.
Especially when they don't let it show, you know?
Or yeah, either that or like when they do let it show and they refuse the help.
Or you have, you struggle with picking up on social cues from others.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can't read the room, you know?
I mean, the best example, right, is if someone is sitting there just bawling their eyes out. More than likely, they're sad, right? Like, but that's a
Right.
very dramatic example.
Yeah.
Sometimes people hide it much better than others, so it's kind of hard to
Right.
pick up on it. And then relationship management. That that is something that I know people struggle with, probably most of all, because you can understand your emotion and you can understand what you're feeling, but you may not necessarily know how to maintain like relationships with those emotions.
Right.
And that sort of kind of falls back under like self-regulation, right? Like you need to know when to let other people see how you're feeling, when to relate, things like that.
Right. When to talk about the things.
Exactly. Um, I mean, we could really just go into some like ways to be ways to get better at these like categories because these are the main categories for emotional intelligence and pretty much what it is made up of. So for like okay, starting with one like self awareness, right? A lot of people just like to feel things. They they don't really think about what they feel.
Right.
So it'll happen, and then it's not until later on down the line. Has anyone ever been in an argument and you don't have anything to say, you don't have any kind of comeback, and then you think of a comeback like hours later after the argument's already over?
Yeah.
That's probably because you're not really being self-aware, and you're just like kind of too caught up in your own emotion.
Right.
Um, One of the best ways that I've found to just be more self-aware is to like listen, like actively listen,
Yeah, not
and
just
then
hear that person.
well, yeah, and then like take in what they're saying, and then like immediately recognize, okay, like ask myself the question, okay, how does this make me feel? And that's what therapists do. Like, it's very cliche, but that's literally what therapists are doing, or they're seeing how self-aware you are when they ask you, so how does that make you feel?
Right.
They're doing that, plus they're allowing you an outlet to express how you feel.
How you really feel about it.
Right. So active listening is definitely like a big, and that could go for like multiple different categories too, um, because relationship management, right? If you know someone is upset, actively listen to what they're saying,
Right.
whether it be like they're upset at you or someone else, or
With the
whatever.
intent to understand and not reply.
Exactly, with the intent to like actually get what they're saying, not just speak words right after, you know.
Right.
Um, it's being self-aware is definitely a challenge. I mean, all of this stuff is definitely a challenge, especially if you're the type of person that would rather be in denial
Right.
and not accept how you are as a person or who you are as a person.
Or like not deal. Oh, excuse me. Or not deal with it at all. Like if you're that person, that's what I'm saying.
Right. And that kind of bleeds into self-regulation, right? It's like you may experience emotion that you know what you're experiencing, but you don't know why or how to deal with it or how to stop it.
Right.
Good example, right? I used to work with this person, and she was a recovering addict, and she had very good self-awareness. She knew her faults and she knew her problems. She knew how she felt, but she had bad self-regulation issues. So every time she would see aluminum foil, it would become a trigger for her.
Right.
And she, instead of working on it internally, she asked other people to not have aluminum foil in the workplace, which was
Kind
not
of need that.
possible. Yeah, it was not
Yeah.
possible because we worked in food, so um, it just it was not possible.
It's not funny, but
Well, it's it's a real thing, and like there's other cases that are like way more severe than that,
right.
but she did a really good job at recognizing that she was triggered, but not a good job at regulating how she felt.
Right.
Or being like, you know what, this isn't what it's for. This is like, I have another purpose. Let's move
Yeah.
past it, you know?
It's for other things, not drugs.
Right. And her particular situation, she may have been an early on recovering addict, and maybe that's why. Maybe she
Right.
still had issues.
Still on the brink of relapse.
Right. And so it's understandable that she had that reaction. But what she was asking people to do was not feasible.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. It's like going into a hospital for, a flu shot and saying don't use a needle.
Well, how else am I give it to you?
Exactly. you know.
All right.
So, but it's
Which in that case, there's, that off topic, but there's needles that aren't, that you hardly feel,
exactly. And like with the flu shot, you don't really feel the needle, you feel the medicine.
Right.
But either way, right? You got to recognize, and a lot of this, a lot of people that work in the medical field have to be emotionally intelligent. They have no other choice,
Right.
or they just can't survive in that field.
Yeah,
Especially,
especially with a lot of things they're going to deal with.
yeah, like a big thing is nurses and doctors. Like
Hmm.
those are the two like big ones. But even is something as little as like um, a cafeteria worker that works in a hospital. Somebody might
Right.
come up to you that um, that needs your help, and
Right.
you're the employee that's there,
Right.
you know. So it's it's really important to be able to take into those situations and recognize how you feel and think about what you're gonna do or what you're gonna say because of it. It's okay to have impulses and it's okay to have feelings that you don't like, but it's not okay to be like, okay, this is just gonna go away because it's not.
Right. Or, react irrationally about it.
Exactly. You got to be kind of you got to think about it. You got to sit and think about it. And you got to do a lot of like self-reflection and work on it.
Right. I mean, I guess it's in a sense, it's like think before you act.
Yeah. And I mean, impulses are really hard to not act on,
Yeah.
especially like if it's something
Like
that
an like an angry impulse is, you know,
yeah.
that's a very hard one to not act on. Especially given, whatever just happened made you that mad that you don't even care anymore. You're just gonna do whatever you think first,
Yeah. And like
which
when
gets
you
people in trouble.
when you think about it, right? Like anger specifically, what's the first thing that your body does when you get angry? Like not you thinking about it, but like just unintentionally. What's the first thing your body does?
Well, mine gets hot.
Yeah. Like 9 times out of 10, that's what a person's. That's how a body
Yeah,
is gonna react.
your body temperature goes up.
Stuff like that are kind of you should look at those as clues of how
Right.
you're feeling if you don't quite understand.
Yeah, this is a symptom
Right.
to the
And
emotion.
and oftentimes you can't really change those physiological symptoms. It's just natural reactions to your body or to the situation. Like for example, high stress environments, right? You have a lot of anxiety. A lot of the times your hands will start getting sweaty. You'll start getting really you'll start to feel nervous. Maybe you feel queasy, right? Like those are good clues for you to then apply techniques to calm yourself back down.
Right.
And most of the time, calming methods work all across the board of emotion. You know, breathing is probably one of the best ones. You just have to know when to do it and how to do it.
Count to three times.
Yeah, that's
I've been told that a lot.
yeah. I've heard that quite a bit.
Doesn't
Or
help me, but it helps somebody.
it's never helped me either. If anything, it's
Yeah.
just like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and I just kind of get over it, like
Yeah.
get it done with, and never really.
Now, if I'm really that mad and I do that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. I can count to three. Now I'm even more mad.
Yeah, and now you're insulting my intelligence, you know.
Yeah, right.
But there's a lot of different methods to be able to self-regulate. One of the best ones is just keeping a schedule, and it may not seem like it's important, but self-regulation goes beyond just what you feel, but how you act. Like that's a big part, how you act. If you can keep a routine and stay consistent in the routine, or the majority of the way consistent, because you know shit happens, it it'll help you manage your emotions better, because then, just like how you built that routine, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3, you can then build a routine to, for example, if every time you're mad, take step 1, breathe, step 2, remove yourself from the situation, step 3, whatever.
Right.
You know, and you can do that with all of your emotions. Sometimes they can be even be the same routine.
Same steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um,
know I do that. I do that a lot at work.
yeah, you kind of have to.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's pissing me off. I'm going out to the car and I'm smoking a cigarette. Not that that is good for you, so don't do what I do, but, you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I think because I mean, I also used to smoke cigarettes. That's the same. Nicotine is definitely a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It's not the best, and I think we can both agree on that. There's better things that you can do.
Yeah, like at this point, does nicotine even actually calm you down, or is it just the fact that it's helping you cope with it that calms you down?
I think it's honestly that's a good question, and I like to answer it. I think the best thing, or the only thing that it really does, is make you feel like, okay, I have something to go to,
You have a vice.
right, when things get bad or when things get
Yeah.
tough.
Which, I mean, in that case, I mean, it's still a habit that you shouldn't do, but a habit to start to break regardless of that.
Yeah.
It's more just that I walked away, went and sat in my car. I'm not in the building anymore. Like, I'm just away from it.
You
Out of
yeah,
sight, out of mind.
you remove yourself from the situation until you have the
Right.
mental capacity to deal with it again.
In my car watching videos and shit.
Yeah, so I mean that like that's a big thing too, is just removing yourself until you can deal until you know you can deal with it.
Right. Or you're ready to go back and deal with it.
Cuz like a lot of people use that though as the end all be all step. So when things get hard and they start feeling emotions that they don't want to feel, I mean, we've talked about this in my personal life. People tend to just go away and
Right.
never deal with it.
Yeah.
And so when it comes back, which it will, it comes back 10 times harder, because now you have unresolved emotion,
Right.
and then it's like, oh, now I really can't deal with this. So, and which is another thing, right? Like, you got to be, it kind of goes back to being self aware. You have to recognize how they affect you and your behavior, not just like your inner, but your outer thought or your outer like impulses too.
Right.
And then tackle them. They're a challenge. They're supposed to be hard. Even happy emotions are, you still have to regulate, because not everyone is 100% happy all the time, and if they were, then they're probably putting on a mask, or they're not human. But I digress. Going into the next one, right? Social awareness. This one is a little bit tougher because you need to know a little bit about body language, or even just how to communicate. Um, Simply just asking what someone else needs can sometimes be enough.
Yeah. They might actually tell you.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst they can say? I'm fine,
Right.
when you know that they're not. A big thing with this one is picking up on body cues, because difficult emotions people don't like to talk about, like I said, um, unless they have a high level of emotional intelligence. they like to push it off to the side and think that they can deal with it on their own. And sometimes people can. I'm not saying
Right.
that they can't, but um, in the cases that they can't, then they need someone's help. They need someone to talk to. One of the biggest things that people kind of so you naturally pick up on body language like since you're born, since you can like recognize patterns in humans.
Right.
Obviously, if someone is like stomping and slams the door behind them, I mean, even a kid can tell that they're probably mad.
Right.
So act on that, right? Like, whether it be if you know the person and they're like, okay, they just need space, or maybe go up and ask them, like, hey, do you want to talk about it?
Right.
Or what have you. There's a plethora of things that you can do, and they're not they're not hard things. You just got to think about the other person.
Yeah. Just knowing the other person enough to know what to do.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes you just have to have a baseline response. Like if you meet a stranger and they're upset, you know, and every stranger that you meet that's upset, you ask them the same thing. Is there anything? Are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help you?
Right.
Even just that fallback, you know.
Even if they say no, which they might say no with an attitude, but you know.
And I mean, if they do, the best thing is not to escalate, obviously,
Right.
because it's just gonna piss them off and make you upset. Now they've affected you, and now
Right.
you have to regulate your emotion when you were just
Yeah.
trying to help.
Now it's a big circle of
Right.
emotion.
Of just being pissy, just a whole pissing match,
Right.
and nobody ever wins in a pissing match.
And in that case, if you are the person that does get mad when they get mad, just don't even say nothing.
Just yeah,
You know?
I think you need to do a little bit more inward reflection
Right.
before you think about helping someone else.
Hmm.
But you know, going back to it, right? Like there's social cues that you can pick up that say a lot more than what people tend to say when they're feeling some type of way. Um, what happens when you get happy, right? Most of the time you smile, you blush,
Right.
you feel warm and tingly, but it's a different kind of like warm than when you're mad. Um, so I mean, there's ways to act on that too.
Right.
It's not just uh, it's not just like the negative stuff, right? Like it can be positive emotion too, but you need to know how and when to see it and to act on it.
Right.
There's a
How to
big
regulate
difference.
it.
Exactly. So I mean, realistically, is like I don't think it should be self-regulation. I think it should probably be just emotional regulation.
Yeah. Emotional. For
But
sure.
but the self is a big part, right? Because like um, can't really help anyone else regulate their emotions if you just get mad at every little thing. It just makes it just way more difficult. And then like the last thing, right, is relationship management, and we talked about a little bit. We talked about this a little bit
One of them.
in the relationships episode.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's the one.
and just to kind of briefly reiterate, like you got to know how you're affecting the other person. You got to know when you're affecting the other person.
Yeah, I was about to say when you are.
You know, because sometimes it's not even obvious.
Yeah. Especially when it's like habits that you're so used to, that you just don't even see it as a problem.
Exactly. When you just day in, day out, do the same thing over and over again, but the
Right.
person that you're around all the time is constantly
Doesn't like
hiding
that.
how they feel,
Right.
and you can't pick up on what they're feeling, then you'll never know that that is the root cause of how they feel.
Right.
I think people don't give themselves enough credit for the power that they have over someone else's life just by a few words or a few actions, whether it be good
Yeah.
or bad, good or bad. Um,
I mean, that's another reason of why we're so big on the communication, because that's what you have to do for the other person to know.
yeah, I mean, even if it hurts, and it's gonna
Right.
hurt, like it's not gonna feel good, you
Right.
know.
I feel like if it doesn't hurt, then it didn't matter at all to you anyway.
Yeah, then you really wouldn't be.
It's almost like, well, not in all cases, but it's almost like you're only saying that because you want to start a problem, not that you care that what they're doing hurts your feelings. Now
Yeah,
that again, that is in the case of it not hurting you for saying, Steven, you've been doing this and I don't like it.
right. Like at that point, it's just like you're trying to change a person for some other
Right.
reason.
Right. For personal gain or whatever.
Um,
Which I guess in that instance you wouldn't say I don't like it. You would just say you've been doing this.
yeah, just mentioning it sometimes is enough for a person to be like, "Oh, really?" and then
Right.
change or do their best to change.
Or, excuse me. I think it was the one I needed. Uh, where the heck was I even at? Or it's not even a bad thing, you know? Like, hey, you've been doing that, keep doing that.
Yeah, just a simple observation, and it's that reassurance of, "Hey, you're doing good."
Right.
Keep doing good.
This hell for all you know, they don't even think they're doing good or what they've been doing is good.
Yeah, I think that's something that I'd probably need to do more in my life too with the people that I'm around, because like there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people that are doing great.
When's the last time you talked? No, I'm just playing.
I'm glad that you haven't quit your job yet.
God.
I think you've done an excellent job at dealing with what you deal with on a daily basis.
I think I'm learning to like the job, weirdly enough.
I also don't think it's the job either.
It's more the money, but you know.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. I don't think it's the job that like,
It's who I work with too, you know.
yeah, and that's a big part of it. And then the
That's
job
why
is just kind of something you have to do. It's part of it, you know.
it's why I always make it a point to at least like once a month pass my rounds of reassurance to people that I care about. Mainly like the homies. Like I don't see any of my friends a lot. Like I don't even.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 months since I've seen you in person. So
Yeah.
never seen Skinner in person.
Other than
Barely
over.
see Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than like over video call, but I mean like
It's not the same.
physically,
Yeah.
physically in person, you know. But that's why I make it a point because for all I know, they could have been at work all day having a terrible fucking day, and just them opening their message, their phone at lunch, and seeing like, "Hey, bro, you've been doing great. Keep it up." It's
Hmm.
probably got them through the rest of the day, bro. Now they're not mad anymore.
Yeah. It's very true.
So you become friends with me, you can expect that once a month. Proud of you, big dog. You know, or little bro, as I
Yeah,
like to
man.
call Steven now.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I'm older than him, but
Little bro.
it is. It's whatever. It's whatever.
No.
I deal with it. I deal with it. So, um, I'm kind
It's
of.
not a true friendship if we don't banter. Sorry.
No, it's not. It's just it'd just be boring at that point.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we wouldn't be you know, having that relationship management,
exactly.
you know?
Even if it's just like just small shit.
Right.
You don't need to do a whole lot to manage a relationship. You don't.
No. No.
Now, if the other person's high maintenance, then I'm sorry, but I think maybe their expectations are out of the realm of reality if they are quote unquote high maintenance.
Right. Which I just want y'all to know. The relationship that me and him have is very low maintenance.
No, Alex is really high maintenance actually.
We talked yesterday for a total of text message from
Like five messages, I think.
from 7, which was technically 3 messages from me but could have been 1. From 7 to 7:59, but they were all spread out between like every 10-20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't have to be high maintenance, you know?
It doesn't, but something is better than nothing, right? Like
Right.
it's like a good example, right? Is like when you're you know, everybody's played with bubbles as a kid, or you know, most people have. You're trying to keep a bubble up in the air. You don't have to do a lot to keep it up in the air. And this is specifically for a low maintenance relationship.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to keep a lot or do a lot to keep it up in the air.
Or a balloon, rather.
Yeah, or a balloon. But the moment you like stop doing anything at all, it's gonna fall. So,
Right.
I think that's a good analogy for just relationships in general.
I mean, I guess that also.
Sometimes a
Go ahead.
balloon is a ball, and it's a little
Right.
heavier.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really just depends on the type of relationship you have, whether it be
I guess that.
a friendship or like a partnership with someone.
Yeah, that's just like a good point of like having like that social awareness of, hey, this person like they kind of get upset when I don't talk to them today, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not to mean that that is a high maintenance relationship, but it's got more maintenance or yeah, like more maintenance to do than another friendship you have, you know?
Well, and then that's the thing too, right? Is like that is a form of being empathetic.
Right.
You know how the person's gonna react, so you're aware of how they act,
Right.
and you are aware of how to manage it and how to go about it.
Right. But it's like with my wife versus you. Like you could text me at 8 o'clock in the morning and not be mad if I don't text you until next Monday. Like, oh, my bad, bro. Yeah, I got you.
Right. It may
But
be
if
a
I
little,
did that to my wife, she'd be like, you're not gonna say nothing. It's been 4 days,
we've seen each other since then, and you still have
multiple
yet to say,
times.
yeah, you still have yet to say anything.
Right. But Steven's just like, yeah, well, he's working, I'm working. He'll get back. Or he'll send me another one like 4 days later, like, hey, bro, reminder.
Yeah, right. I'm not gonna lie. So I feel like sometimes me and you, our text messages are like business emails.
Yeah, they really are, dude.
So it's like,
I
hey,
hope this finds you well.
right? We just don't have it so formal, you know. And
It
it's
really
like
is, though.
we'll hit like on in those instances, right? Because there's sometimes, and this is not to say like this is how it is all the time, because sometimes we'll be going pretty much all day, but on those instances where it's like really spread out or it's like over a period of time, he'll hit me with something, and then a couple of hours later, I'll respond back, and then he might respond back immediately. It might be fucking tomorrow.
Right.
Usually it's
Yeah.
me that spreads it out because I got a lot going on. So
Right. Yeah. You got a lot busier than I am.
right, but I mean it just feels like a business email.
I mean, especially like with yesterday, because I just realized that yesterday you texted me at 8:21 a.m. Grounded too, and I said, "Ask me again when I can't play Battlefield," and then never texted each other again until 7 o'clock at night. We
Yeah.
done both worked a full shift, and still haven't said anything. And then I was just like, "Here's a Battlefield 6 code. Come play."
I downloaded that by the way. But getting back on topic, ways to do this, right? Like we've explained a few of them. Active listening
Right.
is a great way to become more to possess a higher level of emotional intelligence. Um,
Right.
Active listening, paying really close attention to how the other person speaks and acts.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, I guarantee you this: it's a skill. Some people are naturally born with it. Some people are not. But either way, it's a skill that you have to practice. It's something that you have to do every day, or consistently anyway, or you will not be able to understand really what they're saying. Because you could tell me one thing, but your body language tell me another, and if I
Right.
see that, I'm gonna steer the conversation differently.
Right.
That's why a lot of so I've noticed a lot of relationships like to fail if you only text.
Yeah.
If it's only through
Never
text
call.
message and never a phone call, never a FaceTime, video call, whatever.
Right.
And it's because text messaging or emailing or just text in general has no emotion.
Right. Yeah, you don't know what their emotion was behind that text.
Exactly. They have time to delete it
Right.
and write another one.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're seeing someone's face or, whether it be in person or over the phone, you can see their facial expressions, you can see how they're acting, you can see their little ticks.
Right.
Like
And let me
if
just emphasize that to go back to just like the text only. Like that is the only communication you have. Like you don't go home
yes,
and see
that
this
yeah.
person.
Yeah. Like I know a lot of long distance relationships fail because
Right.
of that.
Because they
Whether
don't ever video call or yeah.
yeah, they don't have any more of a connection than that.
Which honestly, a little off topic. If we're long distance relationship and you don't want to like voice call, video call, that's kind of weird.
That should be a clue right there, to be honest.
Right. That it's not who they say they are, or it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Because realistically, right, they have collectively they have the time to text you back. Right? I know it only takes a few seconds to text, but if they're texting you all day, they're spending at least like 30 minutes collectively.
Texting you, especially if they reply right back instantly.
Yeah, exactly. So what's stopping them from being like, all right, let me take a little 15-minute break from what I'm doing
Yeah,
and
I'll call you
and
on my lunch.
and call them real quick. Exactly.
Right.
Like that's a big thing right there. That's what I do. I I'll
Hmm.
sit there and eat, call and have a conversation while I'm eating.
Yeah. Yeah, we FaceTimed the other day while you were like printing stuff out and going to the car to get more ink for the printer,
Right,
figuring
yeah.
out why it wasn't working while I was just driving home. Like,
Yeah, you don't people don't realize it, but you have a lot of dead time.
yeah.
You have a lot of time where you can multitask.
And I
Now, it's
mean,
not to say that you should be, FaceTiming while you're driving or operating heavy machinery, right? Like
yeah, well, it was in my lap the whole time.
I was about to say, yeah,
So
it's
he was
pay
looking at
pay
double
attention to
chin.
what you got to pay attention to. Honestly,
But that just
bro,
goes
we
to
weren't
show
even looking at each other. We were just on the
no,
phone.
it was just the fact that you called me on FaceTime at first.
It was like, all right, fuck,
You know?
I'll answer and go
Yeah.
back to doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Honestly, half of it, like, your video wasn't up because you were on your phone doing stuff. So,
Exactly. But
but regardless,
yeah,
that just goes to show that if you care about that person, you'll make time, you know?
yeah, you will always make time for the people you care about and the
Because
things you care about too.
I didn't have to be on the phone with him driving home from work. I could have been like, nah, bro. But, nah, bro. Call me. Like, what?
And my biggest thing is like I I do not like to voice call anymore the people that
Yeah.
I want to talk to.
Right.
If it's like work related or if it's like an appointment or stuff like
Different.
that where it's like
Or,
more
or your grandma,
formal.
because she can't use video call.
Right, like she
But,
doesn't, yeah, she's not able to use that. So if
yeah.
it's like either a necessity or it's a stranger or it's someone that I don't know as well,
Yeah, that's audio call.
yeah. But the people that I'm really trying to listen to, I'm gonna voice call or
Well, it's because you
video
also
call.
want to see, you also want to see like the expressions they have when especially given like some of what we talked about in that FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
It's different to sit there and look at the person while you're telling them. So yeah, we were doing this and that. We went here and there, like
Right.
or like I'm doing this and that because of this.
That's funny. It's funny that you brought that up.
I know, right?
If you know, you know. But
Side note, everybody watching, I want to talk about it, but I'm not gonna force him to talk about it.
talk about what?
You know, but I want to talk about it
We could talk about it. I don't care.
because I am skin cells almost touching away from just calling it all out. Just not on this platform.
I mean,
You're muted? Question mark.
no.
Oh,
I mean, just watch how you say it. I don't care. I don't care what you
I'm not.
say.
I'm not talking about it.
We can talk about it. No, it was,
We're not talking about nothing that you don't want to talk about, buddy. That can stay between me and you and the
well, I don't know
people it
what that.
involves.
The thing is, I don't know what you're gonna say, and that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's why I said not on this platform.
I'm willing to talk about it
Well,
on here.
I'll be skin cells almost touching,
Well,
more
come
respectful
on.
about
Well,
it.
come on,
No, it's
brother.
Emotional Intelligence Day.
Okay. I feel like we could tie that in somehow.
Oh, you want a self therapy right now?
Sure.
Oh God,
Why not?
gee willikers.
Why not?
I mean,
Say,
it
look,
involves
hey, look.
relationship and management.
Self-reflection is one of the biggest fucking things, and sometimes you need to ask for feedback. So,
Yeah, and communication is one of the biggest things, and the other party is not doing said thing for you.
oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's been a continuous thing.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the trip you had. I don't,
I thought that's
that's
what you were talking about.
no. That's why I said skin cell almost touching, more respectful about it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's been a thing for a long time now, and I understand why. Um, I'm not gonna throw it all out there,
Right,
but
which is why I am not making that decision to talk about it. But we could talk about the New York trip, the New Jersey trip. That's
um, well, no, let's one thing at a
since
time, right?
that's what you thought.
Yeah, we're already on the topic, so why not?
See,
But
look, lack of communication. No.
well, it was miscommunication. There's a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when I said slightly more respectful about it and not on this platform, I kind of figured you'd got the hint.
Uh, I thought it was something else. I thought it was something else, but
He was getting his. Never mind.
no.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is supposed to
Okay,
be serious.
okay, stop. You gotta stop. All right, you said the memes were out.
Imagination. Anyway.
But no, yeah, the communication has been slim to none
Yeah.
for a while, or it's been um, deduced down to only necessity.
Hmm.
So that's kind of where that's at. It's not really it
And only
affect
certain necessities. That's
exactly, yeah. So and even some of those uh not what you're referencing, but some of the issues that we still have don't get talked about regularly like they should.
yeah, like they need to be.
Mm-hmm. Um, but I mean, realistically, it affects me because it's been a continuous thing, and so it irritates
Yeah.
me.
Well,
But
it's also because like you are saying, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about that, and they're just
yeah,
not. That like they just you say Steven, I don't like that you're not telling me what's going on with the Twitter. and then I just hit you with a okay, but like I was going to the store yesterday. Like that doesn't answer the question about
Yeah,
the fucking Twitter, bro.
complete avoidance, right? Complete avoidance.
Right. Which we have been lacking on Twitter, but it's
Yeah,
I manage 3 accounts. That includes my personal. It gets a little
yeah.
much.
The three biggest things that I do with this are Spotify, YouTube, and the Discord. So
Yeah, Twitter was kind of my priority. So blame me, guys. Blame me. I'm sorry.
but no, to conclude the therapy session, right? Like it only irritates me because it's still a continuous thing, and
Hmm.
there's no development
Yeah, you're
in
you're
that
trying to
area.
resolve it, and it seems like you just can't get there.
Yeah, and I think I can take some of the blame. I'm not gonna take all of it because obviously it's not all my fault, but maybe there is a way that I can communicate in a like differently to
Right.
help them better process kind of where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Um, but I
But like
think
you have also communicated certain things so many different ways
I
that
try.
you're like,
Yeah, I try.
that you're almost just running out of ways to communicate it besides just saying like here, 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 here.
Well, so that conversation ended in sort of at a boiling point for me, and let me clarify. This is for a particular situation, and ultimatums should not be made for everything because sometimes they can be detrimental. But I'm at a point where it was necessary. I've
Right.
exhausted every other option, so I gave her an ultimatum. I gave her a set timeline, and that was the timeline. Like there was no wavering it.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, like point blank period. So it was a boundary that was set, and whether they follow it or not, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I mean that's about it. I'm very aware of how I make them feel because there's a lot of guilt involved. So is it my fault? No, it's not. It's
No,
I,
you
I
didn't.
I do not take blame for how another person feels because
You
I did
never
not.
pushed it to the point of where it's at.
I never directly
Well, as in like you
acted in
never.
such a way that caused the guilt. Let's say that.
Yeah, or you're not the reason it got pushed to the point where it's at.
Exactly.
You know.
So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at on that.
Yeah.
Um,
But y'all see that fault on both sides. Said it himself, right?
oh yeah,
Self
definitely,
awareness.
yeah,
Social awareness.
yeah. I'm definitely aware of where I made mistakes and had to learn from those.
Yeah.
The other
Well, I mean,
person, maybe not so much. I don't
we've also
know.
had a lot of conversations about it, and even like guys have said multiple times, well, there was also the time where it was one-sided their way, one-sided your way. It was never
Yeah,
two-sided or one-sided from both ways.
it was. Yeah, it was never going down the same street.
Yeah, right.
It was always like, all right, one person's gonna take a pit stop, one person's gonna deviate, or
Yeah, you're always
whatever.
going opposite ways.
Yeah, or just going, yeah, completely opposite ways.
Right.
So, I
Except
mean,
for a teensy little bit there where you know
yeah,
it
there was
was
there
it
was
was
a there was a time where we were both on the same page.
right for a little
Um,
bit.
but I mean, it's for me. I sort of chalk it up to you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Like I don't count the whole situation as a mistake. Not
Right.
just because of like the two things that came of it,
Right.
but because I learned a lot. So I learned a
Yeah.
lot about like who I am and how I am and how to be a better person.
Yeah. I'd say it grew you up. You definitely matured a lot more off of it.
Yeah,
You know.
that's a big part of it. Because like before, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't be talking about it.
Nah, probably not.
Um, that would just be completely out of my scope of.
You'd still be self-aware, but not regulating.
Yeah, I'd be
Well,
allowing the things to happen now.
to an extent, yeah,
I'd be allowing it to happen.
yeah,
And
yeah. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't. It would. You wouldn't be the way you are now at this moment. You know,
no, no, definitely not.
if it were to happen, it would have happened way later, kind of deal. At least that's how I like to look at it. Because at some point, you gotta get better. You know, not just you, but anybody.
So you want to think that, or I mean, I want to think that, right?
Right.
But I think this particular case, um, it's hard for me to see that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not even just
Mm-hmm.
like with me, but like with anyone for that matter.
I see. I see a lot of Cairo. If you're still here, I'm not gonna mention it. Of what you called me about earlier, but I see a lot of like how Cairo is towards things is the way you are towards things. We're like a little bit stubborn about it. Maybe a lot of
Yeah.
bit stubborn about it sometimes, depending on the situation.
Well, I've always been stubborn too, so.
And yeah, we all are in our own ways. But you know, like Cairo called me about the stuff that happened and was like, I just, like, well, maybe things would get better. Let me just wait it out. I do see potential there. So I see a lot of like that similarity between the both of y'all of not like being gullible, but just like so much that like you want it to work, so you're gonna wait it out.
Yeah. And
Because I've seen you do
it's
that
not
with,
a one-sided thing.
yeah, man, I've seen you do that with things that's not just that specific situation.
Yeah, I have. Like sometimes maybe time is the best thing.
Right,
And for a lot of things I still do believe that. Like
right,
you can't learn how to be a better person without time. That's just a fact. Like you're not going to do it
right.
overnight, you know.
And that's just where like that's where the stubbornness comes in at, where it's like you get to the end of it and it didn't work or it didn't go the way you wanted, and now you have all these different emotions about it.
Mhm. And it's so
But
far deep
that's
and it's like so far down the rabbit hole. It's like hard to pull
right.
yourself back.
Yeah, you had done let it build up so much that it's you're finally at that breaking point where you're just like, dude, all right, fuck everything, fuck this, fuck that.
Yeah. And I think maybe it is like that with me. Um maybe I just express it a little differently. But it's
Yeah,
essentially the same thing. It was like, okay, well, I know how far I can go. I know how
right,
far, like, how much I can take.
right. I'll
And
say like one of the biggest differences, and Cairo, I love you to death. I will always love you. But one of the biggest differences is controlling the anger. Because like
yeah,
I'll see Cairo get mad, and it is just like flipping a lid, and that's just acting on impulses. It's a hard thing.
hmm
It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just a hard thing to fight on. But I have known you how long, and I could probably count on one hand how many times I've seen you actually mad.
a big part of that is because I express myself in different ways. And I
Right.
talked to this, or I was talking to somebody about this too, not too long ago. They were like, I've never seen you mad, and I want to see you like actually to your boiling point. And I was like, you'll never
I
see it.
don't. I don't want to.
And they was like, what do you mean you'll never see it? I was like, I know what I'm capable of, and so I refuse to show that to anyone. Not because
Right.
I don't want to be vulnerable,
And that's the thing. Yeah, you're
but
not.
because I don't want them to be in the line of fire.
Right. And that's the thing is it's more. It's not that you're not mad. It's just you're not. You know. And I
I don't.
mean, there's been plenty of times where you've come to me and you're like, dude, this is kind of pissing me off.
Yeah, but I
But
think that's a more minor situations where it's like
right.
very difficult inconveniences, if that makes sense.
Right. Right.
And
Whereas like when Cairo comes to me and they're like, this is pissing me off, and then they're like getting more mad explaining it to me.
Trying to tell
You know.
you. Well, and that might be the difference too, right? Is like they explain it, and because they're explaining it, because they're talking about it, it
Right.
it makes it amplifies it.
Right. Which I mean,
As for
honestly,
me, like I explain it and I talk about it. I'm like, all right, I'm focused on explaining what's going on. I'm not
right.
focused on being mad anymore.
Which not that it's a again, not that it's a bad thing that they're getting mad. Like it's honestly it's healthy. They're letting it out, you know?
Yeah,
Like they wanted to talk to me about it, so they called me and we talked about it, you know?
yeah. I mean,
And I always
it's
I you
definitely
know,
healthy, just as long as you're not. Um,
yeah.
if you're getting mad in a conversation because you're expressing yourself to someone you trust, totally fine. But if you're
Right.
getting mad in a conversation because you're expressing yourself to the person that you have an issue with, maybe that's probably something you need to like calm down for to have,
Right. But
because
it
you don't know how it's
it's
going to escalate. It really just
right.
depends on the person.
Again, it's also different when you have multiple times have said something and they're just not getting it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it is a little different when it's that kind of case of like, like now I'm completely blowing up because I've already told you multiple times about this situation.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, you gotta then kind of look at yourself, and you gotta be like, is this worth
Right.
me doing one more time?
Which, Cairo, I'm glad it is not worth you doing one more time. I'm glad that shit's over with. But I do what I always do, and like you always say, I sound like you, but where do I fucking get it from? I'm like, hey, well, look, now you ain't got to deal with that. Now you're on to this. Hopefully that shit's way better. If
Right.
it's not, I know you'll figure something else out. Like, you know,
It's not the end of the world. It
right?
it may be the end of a chapter, but it's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Going into our next thing, right? Self-reflection. That's a big part of,
Yeah.
like, probably one of the biggest parts of emotional intelligence is seeing yourself. And it's hard to do. It really is, because then you have to admit to yourself that you're wrong, or you act irrationally, or you maybe feel irrationally, because
Right.
there's feelings that I've had just here recently that were reminders of what I had once went through.
Yeah.
And so my immediate response was to think thoughts that I haven't thought about in years. And and I'm not referencing, like thoughts of harm or anything, but it was just negative self-talk.
Right.
And
Like the
I'm
all right,
like,
I'm gonna start pushing people away again. I'm gonna,
right.
shit
Well,
like that.
it was like, well, the first thing that went through my mind was, am I not good enough?
Right.
And my self-worth kind of hit the fan.
Right.
And I recognized that was happening. And the first thing I did, and I've talked about this a lot, I hate running. I absolutely hate it.
Right.
But the first thing I did was like, all right, I'm feeling this. I'm going to go run. I'm going to go run
Right.
this out. And it helped. It definitely helped.
Right.
It hurt, but it helped. It physically hurt, but it helped.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's a good example of like, all right, I looked at myself, I felt how I was feeling, and I listened to myself
Right.
and was like, all right, let me go do something productive. Let me not sit here and yell and scream or cry and sleep all the time, and let me go do something that's going to benefit me, and that was run.
Exactly.
So again, right, those are really important aspects that you have to think about when you want to become a better version of you. And then, like, honestly, probably a big one is getting feedback. Like
Yeah.
like getting feedback of like, hey, how am I doing? Just like ask people that you know or people that you trust or have gone through difficult situations with, and just ask them, like, hey, how do you think I handled that?
Right.
And here's the thing, don't be scared of the answer, because some of the answers, if not all of them, are probably going to be answers that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
You have to ask those questions out of a genuine curiosity to get better.
You definitely need to be told things you don't want to hear, though.
Yeah. Yeah, because the things you don't want to hear are probably the things you need to.
They're gonna make you self-reflect even more.
Yeah. And they're going to make you change how you are.
Well,
Especially if you definitely care about the people being in your life.
yeah, yeah. Especially that.
Yeah, because, like, nobody's going to want to stay with the same person that they met in the 8th grade that couldn't regulate themselves, that just acted on impulse.
Right.
And
Yeah,
now
I
you
wouldn't.
guys are in college, or you're grown adults with children and, husbands or
Right.
wives or whatever,
Right.
and you still
Don't want
do
to
the
be their
same
friend.
thing.
Yep. Wouldn't want to be your friend anymore.
Right. You there's a time when we evolve, we grow, and we grow up, and we grow physically and emotionally, and
Right.
it's important. You don't have to grow at someone else's pace either. Let me just clarify that. Like, you don't have to do this as fast or as slow as someone else is doing it. You do it at your own pace.
Yeah, you grow at your own rate. That's for sure.
Um, yeah, I mean,
Shit.
definitely get this book. If anyone that's watching this is interested in becoming more emotionally intelligent and bettering your relationships, both with friends, coworkers, family members, loved ones, read this book and think about yourself.
Right.
Think about how you are. I will say, if you get this specific copy, there's different um, emotional intelligence books out there, but this specific author allows you to take a test. It's an online test. It's free when you buy the book. Well, if you buy it new anyway. And it determines what is called an emotional quotient. And basically what that is your level, a numerical level of where you are emotionally. And
Right.
it'll ask you a bunch of questions. A lot of them deal with, like, when you feel certain things, how do you react? Or when you know someone else is feeling something, how do you react to help them? Stuff like that. And it gives you kind of a step-by-step guide on the things that you need to work on. So I like, on this topic, I could not recommend this book enough because it's helped me immensely.
Right.
And it's super cheap. It's like, it's always invest in yourself. Like,
Yeah, you can't put a price on investing in yourself.
I want to just throw that out there. Invest in yourself, because, well, one, most of the time nobody else is going to invest in you as much as you will. So definitely invest in yourself, whether it be buying this book or learning a new skill, whatever it may be.
Which, in that case, if anybody's worried about a numerical value of the fucking book, I am seeing a bunch of prices. So it doesn't have to be $40. It doesn't have to be $20. It's all over the place. And there is an audio book. It's $16 on Audible.
Right. And
But the money shouldn't, the money shouldn't matter, even though it kind of does.
would you pay $40 to make sure that the relationship that you care about the most
Continues
continues
to work.
on? Yeah.
Right.
So think
A
about
million
that.
times.
Think about that. Right? When you think this is too much and this is a lot, think about the risk versus the reward.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let price sway the things that you know you can do,
Right.
or the ways that you can get help.
Yeah. Well, you can always make more money, but it's going to be hard to make that relationship again.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the times when you burn bridges, it is very difficult to rebuild them.
Yeah, it's probably burnt forever. It's
I'm
not
not,
always the case, but
yeah, I was about to say, I'm not going to say that. I can't fully agree with that, but it is very, very difficult to rebuild those bridges.
wow. Yeah, because you're not rebuilding that by yourself.
No, no. Like a relationship can't be built alone anyway.
No,
So,
yeah, you can't
unless
one
it's a
side.
relationship with yourself, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And even then, you still need help. You still need people to come in and hand you tools, right? That's the
Hmm.
whole point. That's the whole point of networking in general. With that being said, we're gonna move on to the quote because we're about out of, you know, things to
Yeah,
talk about on this topic. If you want to
that's
know
what I'm
more,
saying.
get this damn book.
Right. I'll just do a little Google search. That's free.
I
Everybody has
was
the internet.
I was about to say normally I would not want anyone to have to pay for anything, especially if it comes with self-help and, stuff like that, but this
Hmm.
is an investment you will not, like, if you're really serious about it, you will not regret this. You won't.
Right.
And whoever this guy, the two authors that made this book, if they ever see this, you're welcome. That's all I'm going to say.
Free clout, baby.
Free clout, because we don't really like doing that, but it's been
Yeah.
such a help in my life, and it's helped me build and maintain relationships.
Yeah. When it's something that helpful, it's a little different.
Yeah, and I mean, you could probably expect me to throw other books out there or books like it that
Yeah.
maybe not just on this topic, but on future topics.
Oh yeah. That man will throw out a lot of books.
I will. I read a lot. I love reading. But the quote, right? The quote of the episode, and it is by Aristotle. Uh, Google him if you don't know. Um, but knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And I want you to really think about that when you hear it. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. A little bit of homework. Read up on Greek philosophers. You don't have to get back. This is just something that, I would suggest people do. Read up on Greek philosophy because it helps a lot. Specifically Aristotle. He's a very good philosopher.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from the things that he's taught. Or the things that he's said.
Right.
So, we're at about what, like an hour 15? Yeah, that's not bad. That's episode 7.
Episode 3.
So for people who don't know, every episode for Link is episode 3. If you
I'm getting
haven't
choked up.
if you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. It was deep. Apparently it was a it was a core memory for him and
It was a
me
heavy one for me.
to make that episode. So
So
yeah.
needless to say, the inside joke is they all feel like episode 3 to me now. Every time we talk about recording, I'm like, "What episode are we on?"
Yeah,
And then I jokingly say 3.
I'll ask him and he'll be like, "Oh, 3."
3. They all feel like 3.
If you're tuning in late, which I hope you're not, I hope you've seen the other episodes. Definitely go back and watch them. Spotify and YouTube. Join the Discord. There's plenty of resources, plenty of ways to find other episodes on there. Yeah, that's about all I got. You got anything?
Nope. I got nothing. Except that coughing really hurt my chest.
Next episode, go to the doctor.
Episode 3, go to the doctor.
Why it's important to maintain medical health.
Episode 3, medical help. I'll see you guys in episode 3. Love you.
Love you all. We'll see you next episode.
Love each and every one of you.
Each and every one of you. Okay, goodbye.